Hello, people. But on a serious note, I might start a new series called Should the Sixers Target? I'll think about it. But anyway, the topic of today's video is, should the Sixers target Dejounte Murray? There's been rumours that the Atlanta Hawks might be shopping him or be open to moving him. And that got me thinking, is it logical the Sixers at least inquire and see what it might take to get a guy like Dejounte Murray? Now, he's under contract for, I believe, 4 more seasons after this one. During the offseason, he signed a 4-year, $120 million extension, meaning that per year, he's earning around $30 million. Now, Dejounte Murray is a guy who I feel like could help this team in a multitude of ways, and it might not be the name that might pop into your head first, but I'm going to explain to you why it could be logical to have him on this team. But first, let's speak about why the Hawks might want to get rid of him. So, him and Trae Young are technically both point guards, and the Hawks system is heavily centered around Trae Young pick and rolls, Trae Young isolation. So Dejounte does get his touches, but not necessarily in rhythm, basically saying that the Hawks feel like they can get a better complementary piece next to Trae Young than Dejounte Murray, because Dejounte is still playing good this season. He's averaging around 20 points per game, 5.5 assists on 46% from the field, and an impressive 38% from 3 on 6 attempts. So he's still a guy who can space the floor, and it's definitely improved the aspect of his game over the years. So I'm thinking now, if we look at the Sixers roster, I think there is more of a need for a secondary ball handler than people really realize. Obviously, we're playing very well now, and Tyrese Maxey has proved he can be a pure point guard. Obviously, he had the stinker yesterday against the Heat, which we're not going to talk about. Maybe he was slightly hungover from Christmas. I don't know. But either way, it was not the best performance. But that's kind of just sidetracking. I feel like the ball moves a lot in the system, so Dejounte will definitely be able to get into his rhythm, which is kind of one dribble pull up to mid-range or attacking the rim. However, I feel like there's a need for a secondary ball handler. I believe we've tried to push that responsibility heavily onto DeAnthony Melton and Patrick Beverley. At times, it doesn't look amazing, but I feel like there's definitely a potential need there for the ball handler. Because think about it this way. If Tyrese Maxey gets injured, knock on wood that does not happen, we're screwed regardless. But the point is that we won't be able to hang at all because we have no actual point guard. I love Patrick Beverley, but I'm not relying on Pat Bev to run my offense for an entire game. Dejounte Murray kind of relieves you of that. And it also allows Tyrese Maxey to play off the ball a bit more too. We've established that Tyrese Maxey is a very good shot creator. I'll damn near call him elite, but he's also elite off the ball. But the reason why at times he can't play off the ball as much is that when the ball's not in Joel's hands or when he's running the second unit, there's no one really else that can take the responsibility. And I feel like adding a guy like Dejounte will enable Tyrese Maxey's game to even flourish even more, because he's dominant on the ball and can be a lethal threat there. And also adding back that off-the-ball scoring threat, which he was last season. Obviously, he's still there now because the offense around Nick Nurse is centered more around ball movement. So Tyrese is still getting a lot of looks of cutting or just overall getting open off the ball. But I feel like there'll be more opportunities for that with a guy like Dejounte Murray. And also, if you're worried that, Dejounte is going to go from the Hawks to here, where he's technically still compromising the way he plays, I heavily disagree, because again, if this was a one-to-one swap, Tobias may have to be involved, and I would not be opposed to that if the Hawks were interested in that. I feel like that would open up Dejounte Murray's game even more, because where Tobias likes to operate is that mid-post area. Dejounte one dribble pull up into the mid-range. Dejounte's also been shooting the 3 ball very well, so that kind of opens that area for him to score the way Tobias was as well. And I believe Dejounte's ability to be that secondary shot creator and ball handler will definitely make us more dynamic, because at times when D-Melt has the ball, he's doing well, but Dejounte Murray was an all-star a year or two ago. Like, this guy can genuinely play the game of basketball. And not to mention, he made the all-defensive team a couple years back too. So Dejounte Murray has always been a high-level defender. And adding another one to this roster is going to be something special, because Dejounte's like, 6'4", 6'5", but he plays like he's 6'6", in my opinion. So add another guy who can really be a switchable defender is going to be just amazing. It's going to cause more havoc, and overall I believe Nick Nurse can do a lot of things with a guy like Dejounte Murray on this roster. And for those of you who say we don't need a guy like Dejounte, like a few people who are advocating for Zach LaVine, the reason why I go with Dejounte Murray is that his contract is less dire than Zach LaVine. It's around $30 million per year versus Zach LaVine's, which can rise to 42, 45. So that's more team friendly there. And second of all, the fit is better. Yeah, Zach LaVine can be that microwave scorer, but when his shot's not falling, what does he really provide? Dejounte Murray, when his, let's say, shot's not falling, high-level defender, good facilitator, and can attack the rim and can play off the ball, and is a more willing participant off the ball. There's times where if you watch Bulls games, when Zach LaVine does not have the ball, he's not cutting. He's not doing the other things he did earlier on in his career, because now he thinks he's the guy. I'm not too sure how well he will buy into coming here and becoming a third option, Dejounte, I know we won't have to worry about that, and I believe this can be a definitely I can't speak. I believe this could definitely be a great fit for Dejounte and the Sixers also. I'm not necessarily saying it's the best option out there, but I'm just thinking, okay, from what I've seen so far, Tyrese has been stellar. But can there be times where Tyrese might need a secondary ball handler that can help him out at times and also relieve that duty and pressure? Of course. Because when Tyrese gets blitzed, especially more in the playoffs when more of it's going to be half-court based, you're going to need another ball handler who you can really rely on. And Dejounte is that guy, in my opinion, who can definitely be counted on. And on top of that, let's say hypothetically a guy like D. Melton is shipped out. Dejounte is as good, if not a better defender than DeAnthony Melton. So instead of acquiring a guy, hypothetically like Zach LaVine, where you may be thinking, how are we going to hide him defensively? Is he going to buy in? Dejounte comes in and is instantly going to be a huge part of this Nick Nurse defense because Dejounte is a stellar defender. So you don't really have to worry about that. So like I said, I'm not by any means of the imagination saying this is the 100% no-brainer trade that Daryl Morey should make. No. But I'm saying that it's definitely an avenue that the Sixers should look down, explore, see what the price tag might be to acquire a guy like Dejounte Murray and think, okay, with what we'd have to give up, will it make us better and does it make sense? But it's definitely a guy who I'd have in the back of my mind and take into consideration. But yeah, those are just my thoughts. I believe last night's game kind of made it a bit more obvious to me that a guy like Dejounte Murray should be a guy which should and could be in consideration for Daryl Morey because I believe his skill set can definitely help elevate this team. I love DeAnthony Melton. I think he's a great role player, but giving him that responsibility to handle the ball a bit more is not sustainable. That's not his game. He's not a point guard. And overall, like, you're just hampering this team when you can acquire a guy like Dejounte who can come in and take so much pressure off Maxey when he needs it taken off him and can still be a reliable scorer off the catch and still get into his spots from the mid-range. This is not the Dejounte from 4 or 5 years ago. He can actually shoot the three ball and is a deadly mid-range scorer. So I genuinely believe he can help this team. He's averaging nearly 41% on pull-up threes or nearly 3 a game. Dejounte can actually create his own shot. Like, he's a guy who can genuinely help this team. But I feel like I said that 1,000 times. That's enough of my reasoning why I feel like Dejounte should be an option. But I want to now hear you guys' opinion. Would you guys consider a guy like Dejounte Murray? Do you feel like it works? I feel like the only reason why I'd potentially be against it is if Daryl Morey is truly trying to go for this cap space thing, we have the flexibility to go over a Pascal, OG, Paul George in the offseason. This kind of ruins that because Dejounte is locked in for 4 years, $30 million per, so 120 over 4 years. So that kind of ruins the cap space aspirations you have for the offseason. But then again, if you then don't go for this and you bank on the offseason, there's a chance that you get no one and you have to pay or overpay someone that you don't want to. So there's risk and reward in both scenarios, but I genuinely feel like this should be under consideration. But I also see why Daryl Morey might look to bite his tongue on this one and kind of not want to jump the gun for the pure reason that he might be holding on to the offseason to see what he can get. But let me know in the comment section down below what you guys think. Do you feel like Dejounte will be a viable option? Who else do you feel like the Sixers should trade for? I want to hear all that in the comment section down below. And overall, tell me what kind of content you guys want to see next. But thank you guys so much for listening. Stay blessed, my people, and I'm out. Peace.